Pierre, Pierre. My great friend, allegedly. I say this purely rhetorically. He's not my friend. I hate him actually, because I saw this from a post once from like I don't know one of those like populism accounts or whatever, and they perfectly described Pierre Polyev as a fucking a Canadian Ron DeSantis, and I'm just like, perfect. So I saw this here by David Dole. He reposted this fucking video, and I was just like, there's no fucking way. I mean, this man made a video about it. He couldn't get through the entirety of the video. Listen, David, I got you, bro. We're gonna listen to your fucking perspective, see how far you fucking made it. I'll, sprinkle in my own shit, and then we'll watch the rest of it where you just stopped. I got you, bro. I got you. What do we got here by Mr. Dole?
What's the difference between Polyev and a toilet?
What?
At least the toilet has a seat.
True! Yo, any truers in chat? I'm truing that one. True! Toilets do have seats. And Pierre Polyev doesn't have one. He doesn't have one. Fucking loser. Loser.
Good old seatless Conservative Party leader Pierre Polyev has released a new video, which I have to show you some clips of because of how incredible it is. I had a hard time getting through a minute of this, but I'm going to make you watch at least 30 seconds or so before I address whatever points he's trying to make, but really hone in on why this man remains so unpopular and why the Conservative Party is considering maybe replacing him. So let me first show you some.
Yeah, I think it was like, again, here's the funniest thing about this, like on the lead up to the election, there were like some really big like Canadian like conservative media figures talking about, and I think we went over a David Dole video talking about this exactly. Saying like, yeah, when people were knocking on doors for the conservatives, what was like a very common response that people were getting? Pierre Polyev is a fucking dick. And I'm just like, I mean, true. He's like nasally, seemingly extremely untrustworthy. Doesn't seem like a very pleasant person to be around. Would you want to have a beer with like Pierre Polyev? Probably not. He'd probably be like, so this is how like we're gonna do this, this, and this. And you're just like, okay, bro, that's real cool and stuff like that. Thank you for saying that. And he's gonna keep being like a stupid, like annoying, nasally fucking nerd. But that's just the whole conservative grift, just a bunch of stupid fucking bullshit dog shit. I would have thought.
Recent polling, this is the only post-election poll I've seen of Pierre Poilievre's favorables, but they show him with the worst numbers among the leaders at -5 for net approval.
-5.
There's also some new reporting from the Toronto Star here, saying Trump aside, there were other reasons why Polyev lost what many on his team believe was an entirely winnable election. One reason frequently cited by those around him was Polyev himself. Quote, he lost because he's a dick. One of his advisors told the Star, a sentiment cited by other staffers and insiders. This is a sentiment I've heard repeated before. I did a video on.
That's fucking crazy, bro. Like, I don't think he's just a dick. I think he's just like an extremely fucking unlikable, annoying, nasally fucking loser. Let's be honest here. That's the main problem with Polyev. He's just very nasally, very annoying. He talks like this, like nyeh. And that's why people don't like his goofy ass. They don't like him because he's just like a weirdo, fucking unlikable little gremlin. That's his problem.
On a discussion around conservative campaigners door knocking, and a lot of the reactions from people at the door, the reason why they were not voting for the Conservative Party is because they did not like Pierre Polyev, many calling him a dick. I mean,
bro's
after I
vibes
show you the
were
video,
just off.
it's going to be hard to argue that this is the impression he gives off. So there's even a recent discussion in the Toronto Sun. This came out today. Brian Lilly, who is an ultra-conservative, saying, is Polyev done as conservative leader? This discussion kind of seemingly out of nowhere because there hasn't been a whole lot of this discussion since the election itself. But if you watch that Toronto Sun video, it's three conservatives, all varying degrees of thought for Pierre Polyev, but none of them really gung-ho and super supportive of him staying on as leader. And in fact, in the case of Warren Kinsella, one of the people on that panel, says that he should really get out, and he's the reason why the Conservatives can't win. Which,
grab a thing real quick.
I mean, there's definitely a reason why Mark Carney was so eager to ensure that Pierre Polyev had a by-election as soon as possible to get back into Parliament. It's not because Pierre Polyev makes him look bad, but he will face, Polyev will face a leadership review as early as March, which is a weird way to phrase it.
That's next year, right? March next year. And yeah, I think it makes perfect sense that Mark Hardy would want to keep him on. Like, it's not because he's a fucking liability. If any, like, Polyev is a fucking asset. Like, yeah, dude. Oh, you're telling me this dude who's extremely unlikable and a fucking loser, it means I don't have to, like, I don't know, work as hard in order to maintain, like, some form of, like, I don't know, popularity? Sign me the fuck up. Whoa. Politics being made easy for me? Whoa. Crazy. Who would have thought?
That March is next year. This is from the Globe and Mail. So that is from insiders in the party discussing after he wins the by-election, which is all but expected to happen. They may consider, changing leadership. But you also got to wonder, what's the party going to do? The base of the party loves Pierre Polyev. That is why he won on the first ballot in his leadership race. If they try to replace him, are they just going to get a different version of Pierre Polyev? Is there going to be somebody who is going to be able to whip up excitement in the way that Pierre Polyev did with the base? Are they?
I find it interesting that the base likes Pierre Polyev, to be honest, because again, where did the conservatives significantly lose, for example? It was mostly with like a lot of older voters. And a lot of older voters, generally speaking, are the main basis of, well, the voting constituency of the Conservative Party. So it's interesting that, like, I guess it's mostly with, like, younger conservatives, right? Like, I think I've said this before, and I think even David Dole, like, broadly said, I don't know if David Dole said this exactly, but I've said this before, but based off of videos that I've seen of his earlier before, the only constituencies that were, like, en masse voting for Pierre Polyev were younger, like, young white men. It was mostly just young white men who were the main guys who were, fully gung-ho for Pierre Polyev. No one else really liked him all that much, honestly. Everyone else just kind of fucking hated his guts. Even, like, even in those, like, pollings, it was a majority of young white men who were for Pierre, but not by much. It wasn't by a really, really big margin, to be honest. Which is why it's interesting. It's kind of interesting that, again, like, he's, like, being considered still of, like, staying on as, like, the leader, even though, like, broadly speaking, he's, like, he is not very popular. People do not like this fucking man. He is not very well liked amongst, like, a lot of these sort of, like, broader Canadian constituencies, to be quite honest. But now, you know how it is with politics. Wacky things tend to happen all the time in this weird world.
Are they willing to lose that base to the People's Party? So these are all questions that I think the Conservative Party...
Oh yeah, and that's another reason why Pierre Polyev was brought on. It was because of the PPC. Like, conservatives were getting their ass beat by the fucking PPC. And then he came on and, basically made it such that the PPC were a completely, like, non-relevant party within Canada.
Probably going to have to answer if they are choosing to replace the leader. But let me get to the first clip from this incredible video. I'm going to pause a couple of times to discuss what is happening here. But here's the first clip.
You got to hand it to them. Liberals are masters of symbolism. See, in the recent election, to convince people that they were no longer the party of reckless spenders, they abruptly replaced a leader who looked like a reckless teenage trust fund baby with a stern-looking banker. The jet black, carefully groomed hair replaced the uncombed surfer dude hairstyle.
That's fucking hilarious coming from you, Pierre Polyev. What the fuck are you talking about? Bro, you have the same fucking dumbass coiffed haircut. And you've had the same dumbass coiffed fucking perfectly tuned fucking haircut for the past how many fucking years? Okay, dude. Yeah, dude. Like, people didn't like Justin Trudeau because he looked like a fucking California surfer kid. Okay, bro. And you've had this exact same fucking look with your fucking hair for the past, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years or some shit that you've been on this fucking earth. And also, like, bro wants to talk about fucking makeovers. Bro, you fucking bulked up. What? You bulked up because you thought it would make yourself look more proletarian. Like, okay. Oh, like, where is it? Because he got fucking jacked. Look at this man. He did not used to look like this. Bro started to fucking work out. And we want to talk about, like, I don't know, like, facades and looks and stuff like that. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Ah, yes, makeovers. Makeovers are very deceptive. Not like Pierre Polyev, who's always looked like this. Maybe he's also looked like this. Maybe these two people look completely different.
Dude, like, look at this fucking stark difference. Bro had the fucking dad bod, okay? And all of a sudden, he's looking like one of those, like, fucking, dumbass, larpy, like, jacked enforcer type people. And he wants to, like, bitch and moan and complain about, like, I don't know, people getting fucking makeovers. Okay, bro.
The gall this man has to frame liberal deception in the form of a makeover. When he went through one of the biggest political makeovers I have ever seen in my entire life, and I cover American and Canadian politics, I've never seen someone change this much within a few years. And you want to try and claim that the liberals were doing this? At least Trudeau and Mark Carney are different people. This is the same person. Just wild. Now, let's also focus on the hard hat in the background. Why? Do you work in...
Dude, it's because he's proletariat, obviously. Bro, look at me. I'm a pro like you guys, dude. What do you mean? I'm heckin'... Look at me. I'm a heckin' based Epicarino prolerino, dude. Like you. Whoa. Soy. I'm totally, like, heckin' based in proletariat like you guys. Look at me with my little hat.
Construction? Who are you? This is the same sort of actual deception that Pierre Polyev tried to play on the campaign. This is the party that sponsored and voted for, including Pierre Polyev himself, voted for these anti-union bills, Bill C-377, Bill C-525, and then went on in their platform this year.
Wait, Pierre, I thought you were fucking pro-union, buddy. What's going on? Wait, what happened? Huh. It's all a farce.
To claim that they're going to respect union rights, and they won't vote for bills like Bill C-377 or Bill C-525, the very bills they themselves sponsored and voted for. The only party that did. This is actual deception. Pretending you're all of a sudden for labor when there is decades of evidence showing the exact opposite. Unbelievable. But this is where we get to the absolute, the thing that literally made me pause the video and close the window.
But do the numbers back up the symbolism? Well, we found out this week. Prime Minister Carney tabled his first spending package before the House of Commons, called the main estimate. See, government has to get the approval of the House of Commons to do any spending.
Bro, why are you fucking sipping your fucking mocha like that, bro? What are you fucking doing? Sipping your coffee like that? Bro, why are we doing, like, dumbass fucking pageantry? Okay, bro. Whatever, man.
It has to.
Look, we'll get to the point that he was going to make in terms of spending, but maybe it was because I already had seen a minute of this. At this point, it was a minute into the video. That mid-sentence sip of cappuccino was enough for me to close the window. I don't know what it is. It's the body language, the personality, this persona he's putting on, this acting. It is so fake, incredibly fake. And I'm somebody who was very critical of Trudeau and the way that he came off and how fake he came off. Pierre Polyev is no different than that. It's just a different party at the head of it, some different policies. But this is the same sort of performance being put on. He's somebody that he's not, and it is incredibly hard to sit through. But let me get to the rest of that sentence now, and we're going to discuss the point he's trying to make and how dishonest he's being here.
And to be fair, Mr. Carney's spending is not as bad as Trudeau's. It's worse to start with. We know that he inherited a morbidly obese Liberal government, and he promised to, quote, spend...
Haven't the Liberals been promising to do, like, cuts of stuff, basically? Like, how can you make that argument that, like, it's a morbidly obese fucking Liberal government when they've been saying they want to do a bunch of cuts? That argument rings a little hollow there, buddy.
Spend less, but his first spending bill will increase costs by 8% more than Trudeau did in his last year in office.
Oh, you thought Trudeau was bad? Well, you haven't seen Mark Carney. This is the same garbage that these people trot out every single time. Think of how much effort, how much time the Conservative Party spent discussing how terrible Trudeau is. Oh, the worst Liberal Party leader of the worst Prime Minister ever. And now Mark Carney's in for a month. Oh my goodness, he's even worse. It's just like, come on. At least don't treat people like they're stupid. At least, you know, take it one step at a time. You can build yourself up to, now he's even worse than Trudeau. But to start out of the gate with he's even worse, it's just a little much. It also, just the heart of his argument here is so dishonest. He called the Liberal Party that Carney inherited a morbidly obese Liberal Party because they spend so much money. Yet, he wanted to keep all the programs that apparently were making this country so morbidly obese. So...
Oh, God, man, these people, they don't believe in anything, man. They believe in fucking nothing. God, I hate conservatives so much. Every fucking time. Like, alright, grr, look at all this damn spending that the Liberals are doing. But we kind of want to keep those things. Because, like, you know, they're actually kind of good for us politically. Because we can, like, I don't know. They want to try to do, like, the fucking dumbass Trump bit, probably, where they take credit for things that they didn't really do. Let's be honest here. They want to take credit for things they more than likely had nothing to do with. All the same shit fucking happens all the time. Same shit with like the Republicans, constantly. It's so annoying.
So during the election, Polyev suggests he would protect dental care, childcare programs as prime minister. These are programs that he fought against until they were passed.
That's
So there's a real
funny,
disconnect
dude.
here between what he says is so important, spending, and what people actually value. Because dental care is really popular. Child care is really popular. Otherwise, why would he be arguing to keep it after he fought against it? It's just, there's either you are concerned about spending and you're going to be principled and make these cuts and that's your point of view and that's what you're going to do, or you're not. You can't do both, but he does both. So this also gets to the heart of the dishonesty of this argument. And this is not just conservatives. Liberals argue against spending as well, saying, oh, it's really going to hurt us. Let's take a look at where Canada sits among...
Dude, the motherfuckers who argue against spending all the fucking time is so fucking annoying. Like, yeah, do we have even that much fucking debt? I guess by this fucking graph, no, not really. Like, we're doing pretty much fine. The only reason why there was probably even an increase in Canadian debt at all is because of fucking COVID, you know, with the checks that were passed out by the government, right? Because we did pass out a bunch of checks for like relief. We did do that shit. Like $1,400 checks. I know I got fucking money put in my fucking bank account because of shit like that. Because guess what? People needed groceries and shit in order to survive because of COVID-19. Because no one had any work anymore. Because everyone was inside. Because of... Whoa. There was a disease ravaging the fucking planet.
G7 countries. Gross and net debt to GDP. On gross debt, Canada is under the G7 average. And on net debt, Canada outperforms every other country. Is spending really our biggest concern right now?
That's so
I mean, take a look at
funny,
Japan.
dude.
Japan's doing great, and they're way up there. I think we're fine. Also worth noting, as Policy Alternatives writes here, one of the major economics lessons of the 20th century and the Great Depression is that governments need to act in a counter-cyclical manner. In a crisis, governments shouldn't be tightening their belts. They need to run deficits to support demand. So we're talking about investments into society. Look at COVID. Did we cut during COVID to save our economy? No, we spent.
Dude, and like, it's the same fucking shit with like the housing crisis as well. Are we cutting to like try to solve our fucking housing crisis? No. Carney, with his proposed plan, is going to spend a bunch of money in order to try to alleviate the housing problems in this fucking country. So, you know, that's great. That's cool. Fantastic. Oh, but man, spending is so icky and stinky. I'm fucking looking at you, you bastard Americans. The reason why our politics is this way is because of you motherfuckers, alright? Americans in chat, I know you're there, you little fucking sons of bitches. You're the fucking reasons why this is the case. Yeah, I know you're there. Pretend to be silent right now, you little bastards. This is why we, like, the same stupid, like, cultural osmosis brain rot we have to fucking deal with constantly is because of you motherfuckers. So that's cool. That's great.
We helped people. Look at the Great Depression and the New Deal in the U.S. Did FDR make things worse by cutting everything? No, there was a massive investment into society to build up. And look how they came out of it. 50s, 60s, massive boom.
Keynesian economics, dude. Literally the most prosperous time in human history was the 50s and the 60s, thanks to Keynesian economics, saying like, dude, you want to like equitable outcomes in a successful sort of economy and stuff like that, you need to spend money, forehead.
So why is there this fear-mongering around spending when it simply does not bear out in the actual data? I mean, this is the arguments that we have had to fight for decades. We're talking Reaganomics here. This is the same bullshit people have been spewing for years and years, and yet there is still this misinformation around how this actually works. Worth noting as well, the Liberals are aiming to save $28 billion over 3 years by cutting what they call wasteful spending, which may lead to more cuts in things like the CRA, which would have...
Abundance liberalism, let's go! Woo! Guys, we're cutting out all the fucking bloat and regulation that fucking exist. Woo! More abundance fucking bullshit. Instead of focusing on the real problems, it's like corporations doing fucking price gouging and shit. Because we had a bunch of problems with like grocers doing fucking price gouging bullshit all the time in fucking Canada. None of this fucking like stupid abundance bullshit.
We've already seen nearly 10,000 jobs shed over the last year under this morbidly obese Canadian Liberal Party. But...
so morbidly obese.
I've had a personal horrible experience with CRA. I've been trying to contact them. Nobody is answering the phone there. It's all automated messaging. So I would prefer them to hire back some of those people, please, so I can talk to somebody. But this is Spending
No,
is not
Dave,
our biggest problem.
unfortunately,
Yet,
you can't
not
have
just
that.
conservatives, liberals are falling into this as well. I am hoping for a massive investment, the one that was promised to us when it comes to, at the very least, housing that Mark kind of discussed over and over again. I think his housing plan looked pretty good on paper. I want to see it implemented. But don't be fooled by this Pierre Poilievre.
Yeah, like complete dog shit bull. Like Pierre Poilievre he's a complete charlatan and a liar. You know, don't believe any of his lies. Duh. But you know that's like what David Dole got through about a minute of this. Why don't we see the rest of it? Fuck it. Let's see. What does our boy have to say?
Corporate dress shoes replace the childish running shoes.
Wait, what the fuck is this? He's complaining about. You know what? We're just gonna watch the full thing. Fuck it, including the stuff that David took a look at. Why is he talking about fucking running shoes, bro? Again, do we need to talk about what you fucking look like now? Oh, dude, I can't believe that Mark Carney fucking got makeover, or what politician did makeover, bro. Yeah, sure, that's totally the main problem with politicians nowadays. Shut the fuck up, Pierre.
You got to hand it to them. Liberals are masters of symbolism. See, in the recent election, to convince people that they were no longer the party of reckless spenders, they abruptly replaced a leader who looked like a reckless teenage trust fund baby with a stern-looking banker. The jet black.
Again, I don't understand like why just like to talk about this point yet again, buddy. You've been in politics your whole fucking life. Like, if we want to talk about like trust fund babies, we can look at you, Pierre. But okay, sure, whatever, dude.
Carefully groomed hair replaced the uncombed surfer dude hairstyle. The corporate dress shoes replaced the childish running shoes. The MBA lingo replaced the dreamy rhetoric. The spend less, invest more slogan replaced the budgets will balance themselves rhetoric of Justin Trudeau. Wow, what a change. But do the numbers...
Dude, this fucking like fake pageantry is so fucking cringe, bro. Like, buddy, we're complaining about fucking makeovers and political sloganeering. Dude, that's like literally your whole fucking party. Like, why the fuck are you complaining about this? Like, you're no different. You're a politician. That's like part of your job is fucking sloganeering and coming up with things that are quick and quippy in order to appeal to constituencies. Whoa. Like, conservatives constantly complaining about having to do their jobs? What the? Whoa. I can't believe this.
Numbers back up the symbolism? Well, we found out this week. Prime Minister Carney tabled his first spending package before the House of Commons. It's called the main estimate. See, government has to get the approval of the House of Commons to do any spending. So they put forward this package, and it will stack up against the previous Trudeau spending. And to be fair, Mr. Carney's spending is not as bad as Trudeau's. It's worse to start with. We know that he inherited a morbidly obese Liberal government, and he promised to, quote, spend...
Yeah, and you want to, like, keep in a bunch of the stuff from the morbidly obese Trudeau government. Stuff which, by the way, came through as a result of the fucking NDP having, a part in that minority fucking government. But, well, you know, why has dental care gone better in this infernal fucking country? Thank you, NDP. Very cool. But, yeah, sure, man. We're totally going to heckin' believe based epic fucking Pierre Poilievre when he's just like, I can't believe that the Liberals are gonna spend more money and it's all gonna be worse. Yeah, dude, whatever. And you wanted to keep in all the exact same fucking bullshit. Yeah, it's fucking nonsense, dude.
Spend less, but his first spending bill will increase costs by 8% more than Trudeau did in his last year in office. Let's get this straight. Justin Trudeau doubled our national debt and nearly doubled the cost of government. And Mark Carney was elected to bring those costs down. And in the first year after taking office, the year when you would expect him to take action against those out-of-control costs, he actually increased them by 8%. In fact, the spending will grow almost three times
8%.
faster than the combined rate of inflation and population growth. It is a $500 billion spending.
Hey, dumbass, why are we spending so much money? We have a housing crisis still to deal with. What, you want to stop spending money and let the housing crisis get worse? The answer to that question is yes. Pierre does want it to get worse. Because again, as, you know, housing minister, when he was a minister for fucking housing, well, it's not exactly for housing, but he had administration over housing in fucking Canada when he was, a part of the fucking Stephen Harper government. You want to know how much fucking affordable housing this guy let through? Like 6 fucking units. Like no units. All of it, the rest of it was fucking speculative real estate assets. That was the shit that this motherfucker mostly led through. Rings completely fucking hollow, dude.
Spending bill with no budget. Single moms, seniors, and small businesses must budget before they spend. How come this supposedly brilliant banker cannot do the same, especially after he went around the country claiming to be the man with the plan? And no, this new spending is not, quote, investment, as he likes to say. Consultants, for example, get a record-smashing $26 billion, up 36% in just 1 year. That's over $1,400 for every household in Canada in federal government consultants for the coming year. Spending.
Wait, I have a question. Hold on. Wait, how many fucking consultants in federal, like, okay, hypothetically speaking, let's say fucking Pierre were to also be in, like, power or whatever the fuck. How much do you think this motherfucker would spend on consultants and stuff like that? This completely rings hollow when this is a problem amongst all of the fucking parties. Because guess what? All of them have fucking consultancies. Obviously, we can talk about how, like, liberals seem to have, like, an obsession with, like, I don't know, consultant firms or whatever. But the fucking overall criticism kind of rings hollow. Let's be quite honest here. Coming from this fucking dude. Like, buddy, you two also have a bunch of fucking corporate consultants that you fucking talk about and trust with bullshit all the time. Like, what do you mean? Whoa, every political party has political consultants. Say it ain't so.
On bureaucracy is up 6% to $63 billion, again, almost doubling the pace of inflation and population growth. He literally promised in his Tuesday morning throne speech to cap operating spending at 2% per year, and then the afternoon of the same day, his government introduced a bill that would boost the overall spending by 8%. In other words, 4 times higher than he had promised that morning. Liberals changed the tape.
I'm pretty sure that's not exactly the exact same thing, right? Like, I think Polyev might be doing a little bit of a conflation there, right? He's probably doing spending on a bunch of other stuff, whereas like with the overall cap is probably going up a certain amount. Like that's not the same thing. It's different. But okay, whatever. Conflation.
The face at the top. You know, they plagiarized conservative economic speeches and messages, but all that really matters is the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. This is the same liberal spending by the same liberal team, which will bring the same liberal debt, liberal inflation, and liberal taxes. It will mean our youth are still unable to afford homes. Mothers lined up.
People are unable to afford homes right now because there are none. Like, again, how many times does this need to be said? Again, the main problem with housing in this goddamn country is the fact there is not a lot of it. And guess what? You had a hand to play in that by saying, like, well, you know what? Actually, we're not going to approve these affordable houses. Actually, no, we're not gonna. We're not gonna. But okay, dude. Actually, it's the fault of Mark Carney and the Liberals. Yes, of course. Mark Carney and the Liberals, who have only been in power for about a month. We don't even know exactly what the fuck he's going to do quite yet. But, you know, it's all his fault. It's actually all worse. Also, we're complaining about, like, fucking, what, 8%? Okay, dude. Whatever, dude.
Up at food banks, seniors choosing between eating and heating. You know, you'll have to think twice before you even go for a little cup of coffee.
Bro, like, he's doing the stupid pageantry bit again. Dude, your fucking spending was not going to be any better. Because, again, what was Pierre Poilievre's fucking spending proposals? Like, why don't we try to find that, okay? Pierre Poilievre. No, don't want the Pew Research stuff. Pierre Poilievre. Spending proposals. He's going to cut a bunch of taxes, as always. I know he was saying with his housing plan, which was really, really stupid, but whatever, saying he was going to give, like, subsidies for fucking homes. And again, it's just like, well, what homes? There are, like, none. That's not the problem with homes, but sure, like, what is this? Cut the liberal deficit by 70% with less spending on bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, and handouts to insiders and special interests. Very, very fucking vague. Like, what the fuck does any of this mean? This is, like, meaningless, right? Like, what special interests? What insiders? What, like, foreign aid to who? Like, on the fucking debate stage, quite literally, like, you were for, like, sending more aid to the fucking Ukrainians. So this rings kind of a little hollow, my dude. Like, and what do we mean by spending less on bureaucracy? He wants to do cuts to social safety nets. That's what he means by cuts to fucking bureaucracy, okay? That's what conservatives always mean when they say this. By axing taxes. Which fucking taxes? Because again, like, the carbon tax was gotten rid of. And since this is the only thing that he was campaigning on was the fucking dumbass fucking carbon tax, that means it's just like, we gotta still fucking somehow axe the tax. What does that mean? I don't know. Nonsense. Lowers income tax by 15%. Guess who are the people that, hey, pay more into fucking income tax? It's not average fucking homeowners, it's the rich. This is going to be a tax cut for the rich. Crazy. Whoa. So, that's cool. Fantastic. And also, yeah, we have to do, like, fear-mongering about criminals. Because, yeah, there's, like, a huge crime wave that's happening in Canada. Nonsense. It's silly.
So what do we do about it? Well, Conservatives are going to use our increased numbers in the House of Commons. We got an extra 24 seats and 2.4 million votes to fight for a lower cost government.
Yeah, which you shouldn't have had because of, like, ineffective fucking goddamn liberal fucking campaigning. Their stupid, dumb fuck goddamn fear-mongering of like, you know, conservatives being able to squeak by so easily because we still have a first-past-the-post system. Because, you know, fucking liberals decided to do the whole fear-mongering bit instead of effective fucking campaigning. Lesser of evil voting, dude. But, you know, you can only vote for the liberals. Because it would be a darn shame if the conservatives got in, and then more conservatives ended up getting in because of the faltering NDP. That's cool. And, like, even, like, a bunch of, like, some of the green seats ended up being won by fucking conservatives. I'm telling, like, when I say this, the Conservative Party should have, like, been at about 120 fucking seats as a result of this election. The fact that they got about 140 seats, I think it was like 144 seats overall, they made it out like bandits. And why? Because of highly ineffective liberal fear-mongering. They gave you a gift through their terrible, terrible campaigning strategy. So, you know, that's cool. Fantastic.
Government and more money in your pocket. We want cuts to bureaucracy, consultants, corporate welfare, foreign aid, and other wasteful spending to bring down debt.
Buddy, don't fucking talk about corporate fucking welfare when you voted for the bills that literally will destroy unions and cut fucking taxes for those corporations. The rings rather fucking hollow. So that's cool. You know, you want to talk about corporate fucking welfare. Affecting the power of the unions, that's corporate fucking welfare 101 right there.
Taxes and inflation. We'll put hard caps on government spending. Instead of printing money.
And also, again, the whole fucking stupid bit with inflation. That was, again, a problem overall in the world. Because, again, a bunch of corporations were doing, corporate fucking price gouging. Like I've talked about before, with, like, Loblaws in particular. And this was something that was found, broadly speaking, throughout, I think it was Ontario specifically. Not just Ontario, I think it was also, no, not just Ontario. Throughout the entirety of the fucking country. That when they were packaging meat, what they were doing was that they were also including the weight of the fucking packaging when they were packaging meat and still charging full price for that weight of meat when they also including the packaging as a part of that weight. That is price gouging. That is illegal. You would cut all of the, regulatory boards who would take care of those problems. Because again, you are in favor of the corporations doing price gouging and are for cutting taxes for the rich, which is, you have to do deficit spending in order to do that, and it is inflationary.
We'll empower Canadians to produce more of the stuff money buys, energy, homes, food, and more. That will bolster purchasing power with bigger paychecks that retain their buying power. We want to put you back in charge of your life and your money. We don't need a change in hairstyle in Canada. Not a new suit or a nice pair of shoes.
Bro, don't stop. Don't fucking talk about the fucking Polyev fucking makeover, bro. What do you mean? Buddy, fucking makeovers, bro. You did a fucking complete makeover too. Okay, bro, whatever.
Or even a fancy resume. What we need is a change in direction.
Yeah, says the dude who's been in politics for fucking 20 goddamn years, has never worked any other positions in his fucking life besides politics because of connections he's fucking had, broadly speaking, throughout his entire life. Whoa, who would have thought? Pierre Polyev, complete utter charlatan, and all of this rings completely hollow. Wow, crazy. Bro's complaining about fucking makeovers, and this motherfucker went through a huge makeover because he wanted to make himself look more proletarian and does everything possible to be as anti-union as fucking possible. Him and his fucking dumbass party. It's complete fucking nonsense. Like, do we need to sort of, like, keep reiterating and explaining just how fucking stupid this bullshit is? He is just a liar. Like every other fucking populist conservative. But, you know, if he gets ousted as leader, it'd be really, really funny to see how the PPC makes a potential fucking comeback because of this. And, forever affects all of the, forever affects the prospects of the Conservative Party as a result when they lose like a ton of vote share to the fucking PPC. Maybe Maxime Bernier will finally be able to get his seat back. You know, that'd be really, really funny. Well, anywho, not really much else to say here besides, whoa, Pierre Polyev is a complete, utter fucking charlatan, okay? His policies, guess what, would only benefit the rich and the corporations. He's not going to do anything about the goddamn fucking housing crisis because he doesn't give a fuck about dealing with the housing crisis because guess who's mostly suffering from the housing crisis? Poor people are who are mostly suffering from the housing crisis. And he's okay with poor people suffering. So, you know, as expected, fuck Pierre Polyev. He's full of shit, as expected, from any other conservative, being full of complete fucking nonsense, as always. And, not really much else to say here besides that.